Hello, I'm Mark Ells, Barnstable Town's Manager, and this is my Town Manager update for February 25th. We continue with the preparation of our capital and operating budgets for FY 2026, and we're following the budget action calendar. And we'll be submitting the recommended FY 2026 capital budget to Town Council in the first week of March, with the first reading of that capital budget on April 3rd, 2025. I'll also be holding a manager's fiscal year 2026 proposed fee hearing to hear any proposed fee changes for the upcoming fiscal year, which commences on July 1st, 2025. And for all budget information, you can go to our website and certainly look at our open budget website, or go into Finance Department and look at annual budgets, both capital and operating. On Wednesday, February 19th of this year, on the advice of legal counsel, the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission voted to issue a temporary moratorium on the review of applications for certificates of appropriateness for arts projects within the district. This brief moratorium is intended to provide an opportunity for the commission to establish objective, content-neutral criteria and guidelines for its review of applications for proposed art in the district. Establishing such a criteria is important to ensure the commission understands and respects the artist's First Amendment rights as they conduct their reviews. If we need more information, our legal department is available. On Monday, February 24th of 2025, the Executive Board of the Cape Cod and Islands Wastewater Trust Fund met to discuss the draft 2025 intended use plan. Now, first of all, I'm on this trust fund. I'm on the trust fund, and I'm on the executive board. I'm the vice chair of both. Now, the trust fund issues principal subsidies for eligible projects, specifically wastewater eligible projects, that are listed annually in the Department of Environmental Protection's intended use plan. And that's a list of environmental projects that can be both financed by the state revolving fund, and also can receive principal subsidies from the Cape and Islands Wastewater Trust Fund. So we met to discuss writing a letter to the Department of Environmental Protection's commissioner, and they're proposing to make changes in this year's draft 2025 intended use plan that will have significant impact on Cape Cod Town's eligibility for state revolving fund loans and Cape and Islands Wastewater Trust Fund principal subsidies. So I'm sorry I kind of stumbled through that, but it is a mouthful to use all these different acronyms and state agencies and other funds. Basically, our funding and the potential subsidy to reduce the cost of wastewater is at issue here. Now, I sent the letter to the Commissioner of DEP specifically because this entity, this state revolving fund program that issues the loans, falls under DEP and the commissioner. It also falls going up the chain of command under the governor, and then under the Secretary of Energy Environmental Affairs, and then within that secretariat of Energy Environmental Affairs is the Department of Environmental Protection. So I sent it to the head of the Department of Environmental Protection. But secondly, The commissioner of the Department of Environmental Protection is one of 3 members on the Clean Water Trust Board. The Clean Water Trust is the financial side that issues the loans to communities that have been determined to be eligible under the Department of Environmental Protection, State Revolving Fund program, where this intended use plan is generated, okay? So, serves on that 3-member board. 2 of the members are appointed by the governor, she's one of them, and the other is a neutral, not appointed by the governor member. But they make the decisions here on how this is financed. This letter is meant to advise the commissioner of our concern prior to my formal testimony, both in writing and orally, that I'm planning to do on the draft 2025 IUP hearing that's being held on March 3rd, 2025. So back to the executive board of the Cape and Islands Wastewater Trust Fund. The executive board voted to submit comments on this matter. I expect the board's letter will be very similar to the letter that I have submitted, and I've attached that letter. In addition, I plan to write the letter that I just noted a minute ago and submit on March 3rd, but I wanted to wait to write that hearing testimony until I participate in another meeting that's going to occur this Thursday afternoon up at the Mary Pat Flynn meeting room up at the county complex. And this is going to be our Cape delegation and all of the Cape towns discussing the environmental bond bill, which will be focused on the potential to get an earmark in that environmental bond bill to support and supplement the Clean Water Trust so that this program doesn't get modified. So I wanted to wait until I wrote that specific language, until I heard the discussion on the 27th. Then I'll probably prepare the letter the next day, and then the following Monday I will submit it and I will provide oral testimony. Any and all are invited to do this. All of the Cape towns, our Cape delegation, are all discussing this. Our county and our county commissioners are discussing this and plan to comment. This is extremely important in financing wastewater into the future. More to come on this. As we continue our discussion and education regarding emerging contaminants in our environment, we share the referenced information and links that are attached to this for the public's review and consideration. We do this from time to time, and when I conclude, I'll explain why. But in last year, about a year ago, the Food and Drug Administration announced that all of a particular grease-proofing agent containing PFAS are no longer to be sold in the United States. And you can look at my town manager communication to look at the links we've provided, to look at additional information on this issue. And you can also look at the Town of Barnstable Water Resources website to take a look at other things EPA have unveiled relevant to emerging contaminants, and specifically much of it is the fight against PFAS problems. But emerging contaminants are far more than PFAS. PFAS, PFOA, multiple acronyms for this particular group of chemicals that are problematic. More broadly, certainly we know that we have things called point sources. Point sources we discuss as places perhaps where fire foam has been released or other chemicals have been introduced into the environment in a very specific area. Those are of great concern. But once identified, we typically go through both a regulatory and a response process to address those. What we're going to spend time on moving into the future is another concern area, which is us. We use products in our homes every day that contain these chemicals. What our public needs to do is start educating themselves on this and start to stop using these chemicals. these products, Teflon pans, wrinkle-free shirts, certain products that we put on carpets or furniture to prevent staining, certain makeups, etc. We need to stop using it. We need to find substitute or completely eliminate the use of it and get it out of our environment. We can only do that if we educate and inform our public and they make the choice to do it, because right now, except for these specific areas of PFAS concern that the EPA is identifying and the FDA are identifying, you can pretty much go to any store and buy them. Yet when they get into the environment and we test for it in our groundwater, we find these chemicals in the parts per trillion all over the place, quite honestly, all over the country. And we're being regulated to that standard, both in our drinking water and soon to come in wastewater discharge. So the best way to prevent it is to remove it. So this will be our continued effort to educate our public relative to these emerging contaminants and the concerns we have relevant to them. In my last communication, I reported that I had received an email from MIT as a follow-up to my conversation with Shajana Paul from the MIT Renewable Energy Facility Site and Clinic, requesting that Barnstable enter into a letter agreement with MIT regarding the spring semester continuation of the clinic. I've signed the memorandum for the clinic. I've attached it so you can take a look at it. And certainly, I'm available to review in any further discussion. We've already got a meeting set up, I think next week, where I'll be Zooming with them to talk with the staff and students participating in this continuation relevant to the renewable energy siting. Elder Services of Cape Cod and the Islands closed its social dine-in luncheon at the Barnstable Adult Community Center at the beginning of February. The Elder Services Public Information Officer, Laura Roscoe, said the decision is due to the expected loss, or at least dramatic reduction, of funding from the Federal Nutrition Services Incentive Program that began to sunset last year. Barnstable County on Aging Director Kelly Howley has announced a new collaboration with the Family Table Collaborative for a weekly Thursday meal, which will begin on Thursday, March 6th. The Council on Aging is reaching out to all previous congregate meal attendees to let them know about the new program, which may be modified to include additional days as time goes on. So hopefully if you've participated in the past in that, you'll be able to join staff on Thursday, March 6th, and then beyond. Stay tuned, and hopefully we can expand into additional days. And finally, Kelly Colopy, Communications Manager for the Public Works Department, will provide an update on water resource management planning, including the comprehensive wastewater management plan. And following Ms. Colopy, Barnstable Public School Superintendent Sarah Ahern and School Facilities Director Doug Belanger will provide an overview of Town Council Agenda Items 079 and 084. Thank you.
Hello, Kelly Colby from the Department of Public Works, and I will be walking you through this week's Water Resources Management Update. To begin, we'll take a look at our sewer connection status. No significant updates from our last report. As you can see, we do still have active permits across town for various sewer expansion projects, most notably Strawberry Hill Road. Quite honestly, the winter weather has put a bit of a damper on some of our impending sewer connections, and we anticipate seeing those numbers begin to tick up as the warmer months settle in. Next, we'll shift over to our active sewer expansion construction projects, the first being the Centerville Village Sewer Expansion Project, the North Phase. As previously reported, we are in the construction startup phase of this project, with sewer installation anticipated to begin next week on Monday, March 3rd. This work will be on the Chute Flying Hill Road portion of the project, specifically starting around the vicinity of 944 Chute Flying Hill Road, which you may recall is the location of an easement the town was granted for a pump station. This work will require a road closure on Chute Flying Hill Road during construction hours, which are 7 a.m. through 4 o'clock p.m., Monday through Friday. We have already updated our variable messaging boards across the project route to notify motorists of the incoming sewer construction that will be impacting traffic. And we are finalizing our media release, which will be distributed and shared on the town's mobile app, social media, Barnstable e-news, and also as part of a print mailer. So this is something new that we are trying. We are going to physically mail a construction update to property owners along the project route, as well as our auxiliary neighborhoods that have access on Chute Flying Hill Road. Over the last several months, we've seen a lot of great progress in terms of our engagement with property owners when we send print mailings to their home. So again, trying something new and sending an actual road construction notice to these homes. We'll see how this works, and hopefully it will be a great complement to all of the additional communication and outreach materials that we are using. With that said, we've also completed our third round of sewer connection form notifications. You may recall that we began with project notifications back in September, which included a USPS certified mailing to all property owners identified to receive sewer as part of this project. That mailing included a project summary, as well as frequently asked questions, and most importantly included a sewer connection form. That sewer connection form is the property owner's opportunity to opine on the location of the sewer service stub that will be installed along their property line within the public right-of-way. That stub essentially is the future connection point for how the building on their property will connect to the municipal sewer infrastructure installed within the public roadway. So it's a very important form. And we have already completed, as I noted, that first round of outreach, which was through certified mail. We completed a round of in-person outreach where we physically went door to door, DPW staff, and knocked on the doors of properties who have yet to complete that notification form. And now we've completed a third round of outreach, a second in-person round of outreach, where we've again whittled that list down, looked at which properties have not completed that sewer connection form, and knocked on doors. For anyone we have not spoken with in person, we do leave that sewer connection form and a notice in a baggie on the door of the property. So we're really doing our due diligence here to make sure that we have an opportunity to engage with property owners and ensure that they are aware that they are part of this project and will be receiving sewer service in the coming months, but also have that opportunity to participate in a dialogue with us regarding their future sewer connection. As a reminder, this project is anticipated to be completed in the spring of 2027, at which point these property owners will be notified by the Barnstable Board of Health regarding their sewer connection timeline. Additionally, we will have a second crew beginning construction within the Mothers Park area. We anticipate that this crew will fully mobilize sometime mid-March, and we will continue to keep our town council and our public up to date on plans for that second crew and their construction activities. Next, we'll take a look at the south phase, which, again, as a reminder, will sewer portions of Old Stage Road from Old Post Road to Main Street, the bulk of Main Street Centerville, and a portion of Craigville Beach Road. We continue to progress through the 50% design plans for our southern phase, with construction tentatively anticipated to begin in the fall of 2025. With that in mind, we do anticipate hosting a public information meeting to review the current status of design for this project sometime this spring or summer. And we do have regular briefings in place with the Centerville Civic Association, both on the south phase as well as providing updates on the north phase construction. We recently met with the Civic Association earlier this month on February 10th, and we are on the docket on their next agenda for their April 14th meeting. Looking at the Route 28 West Sewer Expansion Project, this is our next project anticipated to be in construction as early as this fall of 2025. We recently held our public information meeting on Wednesday, February 5th, which provided an overview summary of the project and a very loose anticipated construction schedule. We reviewed the project route in detail, as well as the various pump stations that will be included as part of this project. That meeting was recorded by Barnstable Government Access and is available to view both on the Barnstable Water Resources website through the link provided as part of this presentation, as well as through Barnstable Government Access Video on Demand. Additionally, public outreach has included Conservation Commission hearing for the Oldham Road Pump Station. We've also had a variety of in-person briefings with abutters to that pump station location, which is sited on a town-owned parcel. We've had briefings with the Barnstable school community as well as the Cape Cod Collaborative, and we've also done a round of print outreach to all property owners identified within this project. That print mailer included notification of the public information meeting, as well as an overview of the project route and the pump station locations. As a reminder, this project is critical to the success of our comprehensive wastewater management plan. The sewer infrastructure proposed to be installed as part of the Route 28 West project is effectively the backbone of our sewer expansion program. It's allowing us to expand westward and reach our critically impaired Three Bays watershed. This project also includes the decommissioning of the Marston Mills wastewater treatment plant and allows that site to be connected essentially to the newly expanded municipal water system, wastewater collection system. So I highly encourage you, if you did not attend the meeting, to click the link in this presentation and view the recorded presentation. It really provides a lot of information about the necessity of this project and how we intend to proceed. Next, in terms of additional sewer expansion projects that are in design, the real updates here, since our last report, would be these first two projects that you see, the Finney's Lane Neighborhoods Project and the Long Beach Area Project. Both of those projects are moving towards our final design. We have some field work coming up in both areas, specifically to help us effectively reach a final design for both projects. So we do have some field work, as I mentioned, some utility markouts and soil borings that will happen along the Finney's Lane Neighborhoods route, as well as the Long Beach Area Project route. You can see those project areas highlighted in the maps to the left of your screen, the left-hand side of this slide. And we did complete notification, a round of notification to property owners identified within both projects. It was a print notification that was mailed to all property owners to just, again, provide them with notification of the field work that will be occurring, and also remind them that they will be receiving sewer service as part of these future sewer expansion projects. The rest of the projects that you see listed on your screen are in various levels of preliminary design, survey, and just essentially ongoing design work as we work towards final designs and impending construction dates. Lastly, as we just sort of put an end cap on some of our sewer expansion projects, I did want to share a list of upcoming CWMP meetings and outreach initiatives. The first being a presentation for the Academy of Lifelong Learning, specifically the Challenges to Clean Water on Cape Cod course. DPW staff will be presenting to this group. It's essentially an ongoing educational opportunity that's available through the Cape Cod Community College. We'll be providing an overview of Barnstable CWMP as well as water quality initiatives. To learn more about the Academy for Lifelong Learning, feel free to click the link on your screen, which essentially takes you to the Cape Cod Community College's website. Additionally, our next Comprehensive Wastewater Management Plan Ad Hoc Committee meeting will be this coming Tuesday, March 4th at 6 p.m. at the Town Hall Selectmen's Conference Room. This meeting will be recorded through Barnstable Government Access and is available to watch live through our streaming services. We'll feature two very important presentations, the first being speakers Tom McKean, Director of Barnstable Health Division, and Tom Lee, the Chair of the Barnstable Board of Health. They'll be addressing the group and speaking to the committee essentially about the role that the Health Division and the Board of Health play in sewer connection, and also discussing septic-related issues. Additionally, Mark Milne, Director of Finance for the Town of Barnstable, will be giving a presentation on the funding for the CWMP. So very important topics will be covered at this next meeting. As a reminder, meeting agendas and presentation materials are available on barnstablewaterresources.com through the link provided on these presentation slides, as well as on the Town of Barnstable website within the Ad Hoc Committees page. In early April, we'll be hosting our next session at the Barnstable Adult Community Center. Just to provide some context and a little bit of background, we have been working with the Barnstable Adult Community Center on an ongoing educational series, which is really geared towards that demographic of folks who are not necessarily comfortable navigating the Barnstable Water Resources or town website for that matter to get information. They might not be as well versed or as comfortable in seeking out information on social media or other digital platforms. So we take this as an opportunity to meet every month to 2 months in person with folks so that they can really direct their conversation and direct the dialogue, ask their questions in a face-to-face setting. We don't typically record these sessions because, again, they're really contingent on the questions that are being asked face-to-face in those meetings. But we've heard from the community that they'd like to see these sessions recorded. So this next session on April 8th will be recorded by Barnstable Government Access and will be available for future viewing. And we're taking a little bit different approach to this meeting. This meeting will really provide a true update on the comprehensive wastewater management plan and where we are right now today in year 4 of our sewer expansion process, year 4 of our first 10-year phase. We are going to also review the sewer connection process as well as share information on the financial resources available to property owners as they work towards their sewer connection. And we'll also provide an update and a real review on all the various communications resources that are available to community members to learn more about water resources management update here in the town of Barnstable. So again, this meeting will be recorded and available for future viewing. And then additionally, as previously mentioned, our next meeting with the Centerville Civic Association will be on Monday, April 4th at 6 p.m. These meetings are held at the Centerville Public Library and will provide an update on construction as it relates to the Centerville Village Sewer Expansion North Phase and the Mothers Park Pump Station. Shifting gears to the 720 Main Street Pump Station replacement project, no significant updates since our last report. We continue to progress with our in-road construction, specifically in the South Street and C Street connection area, as well as sewer tie-ins on Main Street, and we remain on schedule and on budget for completion this coming spring. Same with the water pollution control facility, no significant updates since our last report. We continue to work through the 90% design plans for our nitrogen removal and headworks improvement project, as well as continue to analyze our water reuse and disposal alternatives analysis with our consultant CDM Smith for the effluent disposal evaluation project. We are also making progress on the Bierce's Way sewer extension and vacuum sewer removal project. That project remains under construction, and as a reminder, that's in collaboration with the Massachusetts Department of Transportation's Bierce's Way Shared Use Path project. In-road construction for the vacuum sewer removal continues and does require a road closure on Bierce's Way, essentially from Pitcher's Way to Enterprise Road. So an updated photo there on the right hand of your screen of that sewer construction that is actively ongoing. No significant updates with the Straightwater Hyannisport water treatment facilities improvements project. We continue to work through our design and permitting approvals process here. And really this brings us to our spring, summer, where we intend to bid and essentially award the contract for this project. We do still anticipate and are holding to the schedule with anticipated construction to begin in the fall of 2025. A review of project objectives and project materials can be found on the Town of Barnstable website, specifically on the Department of Public Works water supply page. We have a project page set up for the Straightway and Hyannis Water Treatment Facilities Improvements Project. So I would encourage you to just review all current materials on the Town of Barnstable website through the link provided on these presentation slides. And lastly, we'll take a look at current water quality initiatives. As we spoke previously, we reported a variety of our water quality projects and our ponds and lakes management and monitoring. We're going to be resuming this coming spring. I anticipate at our next water resources management update, we will have more information on those initiatives and their intended start dates as we near the warmer months. But for now, I do have some updates on the Mill Pond project. So you may have heard that we did receive a grant or a notice of grant reward on January 28th specifically from the Division of Ecological Restoration, the DER. This grant is going to provide support for us to complete a study that will inform ongoing decision-making about the long-term fate of the dam at Mill Pond. In conjunction, we are working on a dredging project for Mill Pond. The dredging project was identified as a non-traditional solution for nitrogen management in the town's CWMP. We are continuing to work through design and permitting of that project and look forward to keeping our town council and community abreast of any project updates. So some exciting things happening at Mill Pond, and we look forward to keeping you all informed as both projects move forward. That concludes our water resources update. Thank you.
Hello, town councilors and community of Barnstable. This is Sarah Ahern, the superintendent of the Barnstable Public Schools, and I'm joined here on this recording with Douglas Bowlanger, who is our director of facilities. I want to thank Town Manager Els for providing this opportunity for us to share in advance of the February 27th Town Council meeting a little background information related to 2 agenda items. Both items coming before you have to do with statements of interest that we would like to submit to the Massachusetts School Building Authority. The MSBA is a state agency that has been in existence for probably about 20 years, and this agency helps to support municipalities and school districts with major facilities construction. The MSBA has 2 different programs. One program is called the CORE program, which is for new facilities buildings, additions and renovations that are of major capital expense go through the CORE program. And then they also have something called the Accelerated Repair Program. The Accelerated Repair Program is state monies that would go to support new roofs, new windows, and heat pump projects. The CORE program accepts applications on an annual basis, and the Accelerated Repair Program accepts applications every other year. And working with our facilities subcommittee and then with the school committee, we have 2 statements of interest that we would like to pursue through the Accelerated Repair Program. These 2 projects are of highest priority and highest cost to the district. And applying to MSBA is an opportunity for us to seek funding from the state to help support local funds that are needed for 2 roofing projects. The first application would be for the Barnstable Intermediate School and a replacement roof there. That has been on our capital list coming from the 2023 Facilities Conditions Assessment. And the other project is a roofing project for Barnstable High School. In recent capital projects, we had talked about a design phase and then an implementation phase of about $14 million for a Barnstable High School roof. And this statement of interest is of highest priority. Our application would indicate to the state that this is of highest priority, given the magnitude as well as the current condition of the roof at Barnstable High School. I'm going to transition over to Doug, who can share a little bit more about the conditions of these roofs and the projects themselves.
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, everyone. I'll talk first about Party 1, which is the Barnstable High School roof, which is approximately 420,000 square feet and some change. This roof is, some parts of it are 25, some parts of it are 30 years old. The roof is in adequate condition, lots of roof leaks. We're constantly repairing not only the roof itself and patching the roof, but also we're having to take care of damage it causes inside of the high school, which of course creates health concerns and risks inside. And then the other roof that we're talking about, which is the secondary statement of interest, the Barnstable Intermediate School, which is 198,000 square feet. That roof is in serious need of replacement. It's been patched before. I think like 5 years ago it was a small patch, like a 10 by 20 area. And then another one was done about 12 years ago. And unfortunately, those patched areas are actually causing major leaks. We're seeing it with the current ice and water that we've been having this year. Some of the roof areas are lifting. We've been looking at it more and more. A concern is with the Barnstable Intermediate School that's also a structural slab, and that slab is being compromised by the continuing roof leak. We're starting to see some cracks in the structural slab. Some of the areas are compromised. So both of these projects are very urgent and are needed. And back to the MSBA and also this funding, it's definitely something that we would be seeking, but it's also something that would really help the town of Barnstable with these costs. I mean, I think we're talking, you said, Sarah, 14 million approximately for the high school. That would include some of the design work that have to go into it and the drawings. And then now that I'm learning more about the Barnstable Intermediate School, we were carrying about 5 million for a roof, but depending on the structural issues that we may run into, this could get up to close to 8 million. So, I left anything out?
No, I think you covered it. And just to paint a picture about the impact of these roofs on teaching and learning and the lives of our students and the lives of our teachers in the buildings, they're experiencing regular roof leaks.
Yep.
There are damages to ceiling tiles, damaging to walls. It's not unheard of to have trash cans. Sometimes the students will share this information at a school committee meeting that there's trash cans collecting roof rainwater and leaks that come in. And this all compromises the integrity of the building itself. And it's also a risk as it's related to indoor air quality. So moisture management is paramount in our efforts to manage moisture and therefore maintain healthy indoor air quality.
Right. And I was
sorry,
just gonna add, sorry about that. Didn't mean to interrupt. I was just gonna add to that indoor air quality, as we all know, water travels. So a leak could be in one area, but it'll travel 10 to 20 feet, and it could affect 2 to 3 classrooms. We may have a bucket or a barrel underneath it, thinking it's directly above that classroom, but with that water traveling, creates unknown areas that are getting moisture, causing air quality issues. It's not having a solid roof is it just adds to the unhealthiness of the school.
These projects are going to need to get done. The MSBA provides an additional funding avenue to help support municipal dollars. The reimbursement rate has typically been 40 to 50% in our area. Some of the new buildings that are being built and some of our neighboring communities have used MSBA funds to help support their facilities projects. And so we would expect the reimbursement to be in the 40 to 50%. The state average is 31%, but based on some of the projects that have happened recently in the Cape Cod region, we would expect it to be a little higher than that. And that has to do with demographics and the economics of the region determines the reimbursement rate. Putting in a statement of interest does not guarantee or obligate us, but it is an opportunity to get our name in line with other districts for these competitive awards so that we could get some additional support for 2 very important projects. The school committee voted to authorize me to submit the statement of interest. This does require a second vote by town council to support. And we are hoping for your support so that we can submit this application. The application is due March 21st. And if we do not submit it in this March timeframe, we will not have another opportunity to seek some support from the state for these 2 very large projects until 2027, when the window opens again. So we're hoping for your support in seeking some funding from the state to get us in the line for a repair project for these 2 roofs. Thank you.